we're going to bring up our next panel, and I just want to say this is you guys did a great job. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. In 2015, a Massachusetts police chief, Leonard Campanella, in Gloucester, Mass, had an idea. Had an idea that maybe the focus of law enforcement could start to turn and change from the demand side, change from the supply side and the drugs to the demand side and the users. And from that, law enforcement now across the country is starting to get into this idea that recovery coaches and treatment centers can partner with law enforcement, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. And I think that was the thinking for a long time, especially when you're talking about illegal drugs, these illicit drugs coming in. And this idea has really taken hold, and Kevin and I have talked about this often as far as what is happening. Detective Kivitz, who's here in Robbinsville, I mean, just the incredible things that are happening with these programs that are supported by organizations like City of Angels, New Jersey. So impressive. So we want to bring up our last panel. We've got Chief James Abbott from West Orange, Chief Michael Richards from Newton, Earl Liphart, who is from Integrity House, Rob Fasoli, who's a recovery coach with City of Angels, and Katie Calvaca, who is a recovery advocate. Guys, come on up. You know, this issue is one of the, this is what got and sparked our interest in the media, saying, wow, this is something that is so completely different. And the very idea of having a law enforcement partnership with a recovery coach, it's amazing that it took until 2015 for this idea to come out. I mean, that is somewhat shocking, but I think it takes society a long time to kind of wrap their heads around this. And you've got so many conflicting things going on, which is why I have asked some of the officers about budgets, you know, about legalization. All of these issues are so important because society is somewhat conflicted. On one side, you've got this battle for legalization. On the other side, we're fighting to keep our kids alive. So you've got so many conflicting messages, but what is happening here in terms of you know, programs like Hope, Angel, Clear, things like that, is that partnership and that synergy is taking place. So guys, who wants to start? We're going to just do that. Or ladies first. Okay, would you like to start?
I'd like to let Chief Richards start.
All right, Chief, go ahead.
You can introduce.
Tell us what it's all about.
So the Sussex County Clear program, we started in about November of 2015. We, like other counties in New Jersey, were doing Narcan, and we were doing these and sometimes doing them repeatedly with the same people. And so I met with Becky Carlson, who's the director here of the Center for Prevention and Counseling in Sussex County. And by the way, Sussex County is where that part of the Appalachian Trail, the one part of New Jersey that you like, that's where we are. So we said, oh, we've got this Narcan, we saved this guy or girl, but now what? You know, and so we wanted to come up with something. We started out with, you know, maybe we need to have some type of brochure or something that we can give them, say, you almost died, you know, now what? So that conversation pretty quickly led to the recent news of Chief Campanella in Massachusetts, and that we started putting our heads together and meeting, and by July of 2016 we figured out a name and a group, and it was a very good collaboration from every police department in Sussex County, our county prosecutor here, Francis Koch, County Social Services, again, the Center for Prevention and Counseling, County Jail, and Atlantic Health, who is a huge hospital in northern New Jersey. So we've got all that together. We've got recovery coaches based on a donation of $7,500 from Atlantic Health. That's Katie is our recovery coach coordinator. And we've put this collaboration, we have these meetings where we talk about what everybody's been individually doing and how we can kind of work better together. And then we have the essence of the CLEAR program is to be able to take people who voluntarily seek assistance They come into the police station and we get them connected with a recovery coach and they try to get treatment. So eventually what we want to try to do though is expand that to every police department in Sussex County. The county police chiefs are all on board, and we also want to be able to have recovery coaches go into the hospital. We're not at that point yet right now though. But we're doing this completely without any additional funding, except for the organizations that are working on it currently. That's the main gist of what we're doing, and really it's Katie Kalvaka is really, in the Center for Prevention, is really doing most of the work, to be honest. So maybe if you want to pick up.
Katie, go ahead.
So CLEAR stands for Community Law Enforcement Addiction Recovery, and like the chief said, we didn't want to duplicate what we're already doing in the county. At the Center for Prevention and Counseling, where I started as a volunteer, most of what we do is prevention. So a lot of the programs that some of our earlier panelists were talking about, prevention programs and coalitions, we already do that. So we don't want to duplicate what we're doing. We do outpatient treatment. But having the officers being able to offer assistance was something new. So currently in Sussex County, Newton PD is the only department that can accept walk-ins. And like the chief said, we want to be able to expand that. To get to that point, we put together an application for volunteer recovery coaches. We had an interview process. There's some people that just weren't the right fit. And something unique to CLEAR is that we have two kinds of coaches. We have peer coaches that are people in long-term recovery like myself, and family members in long-term recovery to work with other family members. Much of the time, it's a parent that calls. We also created a toll-free number that people can call. And it's a parent saying, I heard about CLEAR, I'm not sure what it is, but I just need to get my kid some help. I'll explain how the program works, that their son or daughter can walk into the police department, go through a screening process, get paired with the coach, and we'll walk them through whatever their process is going to be. But after I have this conversation, I'll say, so what are you doing to keep your head on straight? And usually there's silence, or they say, nothing, I don't know. And that's when I can offer a family coach to follow up with the parent. And we're finding that that's very successful because when they're getting the support as far as, perhaps going to their own kind of 12-step fellowships, or just getting education from another parent who's walked the walk, they're able to better help their loved one. So we have volunteers that are recovery coaches. We really need to expand that. That's something, a barrier we're facing because these people are in long-term recovery, they have families, and they have careers of their own. And as we expand this program to open it up for other departments to be able to be an access point, we are looking to have more coaches involved and getting funding to train the coaches. That's been an ongoing barrier, I would say. The Center for Prevention and Counseling hired me. I don't work under a grant, so that's something that they put in so that I can help coordinate this program. I would advise, if you are in law enforcement and you're looking to start a program like this, you need to partner with a treatment facility like SOBA that Joel works at, where they have the paid recovery coaches, or a paid staff member to at least oversee the coaches, because that's a key component of this. We need to make sure that the coaches are getting support in what they're doing, that they're being supervised, that it's cohesive, and there's communication. We've also developed a tracking form for our coaches to use. Atlantic Health has program evaluators, these brilliant women with PhDs that helped us come up with SurveyMonkey tracking form, so that when I meet with someone, whether I talk to them on the phone, whether I meet with them in person, we're keeping track of those interactions, those coaching interactions, the goals that they come up with, whether that's accessing treatment or other things like getting ID is one of the goals of our participants who is homeless and facing a lot of barriers. So whatever their goals are, we're keeping track of that, and we're keeping track of whatever resources we're connecting them to, whether that be treatment or other social services. I'm trying to think of other key points I wanted to mention. As far as accessing treatment, in explaining the CLEAR program, we do have treatment facilities that have agreed to give us scholarships, but there is a vetting process in that. There are a lot of things going on in treatment facilities where they say, sure, just send us whoever, and we want to make sure we're sending people to a place that is licensed, that has the right kind of staff, the right kind of accreditation. So that's something that we look into. We don't just sign someone on and put them on our website because they offered it. At the Center for Prevention and Counseling, I consult with our clinical director about different treatment facilities that want to be on board, and we meet with their representatives to discuss what that would look like and exactly what they offer. So that's also incredibly important for your police-assisted programs. To be able to get someone to treatment is a great thing, but it needs to be good treatment, and people need to be safe. So.
I would say that just being on the PARI website has generated, because we were, I think, one of the first agencies in New Jersey to get our patch on the PARI website, so treatment centers were cold calling us, to, hey, introducing themselves to us. So that alone was beneficial to us. But I know that Katie sometimes could work for hours making, phone calls, probably for days making phone calls to try to get someone, placed at a treatment center. So it's very difficult, and it really needs to be done by someone that's a recovery coach. And I would just add only to our Sussex County problem. It's interesting when we look at the numbers. Sussex County a lot of times is all the way to the right with the smallest column, but sometimes what that doesn't really reflect is what it is on per capita. That represents volume. It doesn't really represent, the problem that we're seeing as accurately as we're seeing it. And I think Star Ledger or NJ.com actually had an article a year or so ago that showed that there's some municipalities in Sussex County that are higher than other parts of the state, many other parts of the state. So it's a very serious problem in Sussex County, and but because of those numbers, we don't really ever see funding. So that's why it's necessary for us to kind of work together, avoid any duplication, and do as much as we can with the little resources that we have.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief, and thanks, Katie. Chief Abbott, will you just tell us about the HOPE program? Thanks, Bill.